Hello and welcome to Randoms. I am Ogochkumobno. Today on Randoms, we'll be talking about trending issues making waves on the internet at the very moment. And I must tell you that we have a lot of them. But first of all, we'll dive right in as Senate accuses Natasha of skit making. Well, following attempted forceful resumption, the chairman of the Senate Committee on Media and Public Affairs, Senator Yemi Adaramodu, has described the forceful attempt of Kogi Central Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan to resume plenary on Tuesday, July 22nd as skit making and content creation. Akpoti-Uduaghan, who was suspended for 6 months after her face-off with Senate President Godswill Akpabio and subsequent allegation of him sexually harassing her, has stormed the National Assembly complex on Tuesday to resume her legislative functions on ground that an Abuja court had ruled that her suspension was excessive and she needs to be recalled. However, she was denied entry into the National Assembly complex in an interview with Channels TV on Tuesday, July 22nd. Adaramodu argued that even if there was a court order, it was not Natasha's responsibilities to enforce it or on her own. The National Assembly at large has a lot of roles to play. We are legislators and lawmakers, not spectators to be watching skit making and content creation. Initially, I said all these episodes and saga is all about content creation. Now that the content has been created, it's now degenerating into a season film. Wow, this is laughable. Well, he went ahead to say, we are not interested. We are lawmakers, not actors. We are not interested in all these kinds of things. Even when any litigant, I beg your pardon, he said, even when any litigant goes to court and gets judgments, either the person feels that this is an order when that is not an order. The litigant does not enforce the order by himself or herself. He also continued by saying there are court bailiffs who will serve orders on those who should be served as prescribed by the courts. I know that Nigerians now know that this is another skit making and a continuation of the content making episode by our own colleague, he said. Well, this kind of allegation at this point is something we do not know how to handle, because how can Adaramodu, someone who is representing the Honorable Senate Chambers, come out to say this in an interview, calling whatever her resumption, Senator Natasha's resumption, and calling it a skit making. It doesn't look like she actually came there to play. She came there to resume plenary. She came there to resume her duty as a senator. You know, taking who is over, watching over her own constituency. I think the Kogi Central, district, and she just came as a worker there, as a senator that she is, to resume her job. And now someone else is calling it skit making and making it laughable. Honestly, at this point, I want to say that I think matters are getting out of hand. According to her, she said the court actually agreed her to resume that day, which was July 22nd, but then she was refused entry. Well, we're going to take a short look at this video while she had to walk a long way down to the Senate building, and she was also denied entry into the Senate building. Please, let's take a look at this video.
This is the senator representing Kogi Central, trekking down to the assembly complex in order to she wants to enforce the rule, the court order that she should resume today from the National Assembly complex, happening live.
Wow, we all saw that video, how she was stopped, her convoy was stopped by the gate, and even they went ahead to even ask her questions like, who are you? It's more like they do not even know who she is, and which is obviously not cool. I think that's a big lie if security officers start asking a sitting senator who she is at this point. It's more like you're trying to tarnish her image or ridicule her at that point. Well, we'll be going on to social media to take comments from social media as regards this discussion. And our first comment is coming from Dr. Success John. And Dr. Success says, when I hear people like this speak, then I begin to wonder how they became lawmakers in the first place. They are obviously scared of Akpabio. Shame on you, because as a senator, you don't even know what the law says. Honestly, I did not really, it didn't go well with me when I saw Adaramodu's interview with Channels Television, and he called her resumption a skit making or content creation. And to him, he said, this is another episode. And he thought it was just episode, but right now it is season by season. Honestly, I know he just wants to be funny at that point, but then it's kind of insulting to the senator. Well, the second comment is coming from Vivian Sami, and Vivian says, this is what you people have reduced the hallowed chambers to, joining forces to fully destroy the legal frame and justice system onto which decent societies are born. Vivian, thank you so much for that comment. I hope they don't reduce and ridicule the Senate chambers, because it is an honorable chambers and should be kept the way it is. Well, the third comment is coming from Believe Mr. Raff. And Believe Mr. Raff says, so the only question I have is that the people she's representing aren't Nigerians or don't deserve representation. A wise man once said, don't leave governance to the lowest in the society. A wise man indeed. Well, that's the last comment for Senator Natasha's resumption, and Adaramodu calling it kids making. Well, we're moving on to the second topic for the day, where Peter of P Square marks 30 years on stage with epic throwback. Wow, we like to see things like this. This is progress over 3 decades. Nigerian music star Peter Okoye of P Square is celebrating a major milestone, 30 years on stage. The singer took to his Instagram to mark the moment with a heartfelt caption that reads, over 30 years on stage and still counting. I am so grateful. He also posted a nostalgic throwback photo showing his early beginning side by side with a current picture, giving fans a glimpse of how far he has come in the industry. We all know P Square. I know one person is celebrating over 30 years, but I think this duo have really served us. And they've been on our screen since the millennial days. They've danced, they've sang their way out. And the truth is, when you get to hear people like this, you really celebrate them. I will tell you that these people are living legends. Peter is celebrating himself, but I really want to add Rude Boy, because I know they've gone their separate ways, and one is Mr. P and the other is Rude Boy right now. They no longer bear that name, P Square. But I am celebrating them as a duo, because they served us. They brought good memories to us. The P Square band, handled by their brother Jude Okoye, was really a good one. A lot of musicians learned from them, especially when they started dancing. I know Mr. P does the dancing while Rude Boy does more of the singing, and they blessed our screen. Growing up, there's no party you attend and you don't get to hear P Square performing, or you don't get to hear their song from the DJ playing. So they really blessed our days. And to be on the screen for 30 years, we need to celebrate it. It's worth celebrating. It's not easy to go through the first decade, second decade, and then the third decade, and you are still relevant in the society and in the music industry, because I must tell you, Mr. P, Rude Boy, whenever they release a new song, we still enjoy their songs. We still, separately as they've gone their separate ways, we still enjoy their song. They still give us hits back to back. It's not easy to be relevant. We have so many young and talented artists that really have faded away over time because they couldn't keep up with, the whole stardom and, giving us good songs. But these ones, they've really done a lot for themselves. And I must say congratulations to Mr. P, congratulations to Rude Boy, for gracing our screen and giving us good songs with those dance moves. I understand that Mr. P said he has been a huge fan of the late legendary Michael Jackson, and that was where he learned all his moves from. And I know then young guys really wanted to, I know they were copying that style. I know he also said he also learned from Osha Raymond, and a lot of young guys growing up then in Nigeria, they kind of copied his style, their dress sense, and the way way they wear their baggy jean, big polo, the cap. I know there's one, is it P cap they call them now, the P cap and all of that. It was really a beautiful one. And I must tell you, even at this time, they're still giving back to the society, even if not through music, but in one way or the other. I know Mr. P is currently doing kind of like a lotto or giveaway online that he blesses people. Whoever wins, he gives them money to start up businesses and other things they want to do in life. And I must say, congratulations, Mr. P. He still looks good as ever, you know, from back in the days. Well, that's it for Mr. P. We'll be going on a short break. And when we return, Randoms return. Don't go nowhere. Welcome back from that quick break. It is a quick break indeed. And if you're just joining us, this is Randoms on Global TV. Do not forget that we air every Thursday, 6:30 p.m. So you have to be part of this conversation and do not miss it any other day for anything. Okay, so we earlier talked about Natasha's resumption to the Senate House, and she was not allowed access into the Senate building, where Adaramodu started calling it a skit making and why was she return to the Senate building when she was not given the order to return. Well, according to Natasha, she said she has been given order to return, and that's the reason why she resumed. And we moved over to Peter of the P-Square Duo, who was celebrating 30 years on stage, 30 years in the music industry, not being so at this time, 30 years, being relevant for 30 years and gracing our screens, giving us good content, good music, good dance steps and all of that. It's not easy. It is worth celebrating. Well, on to the next topic for the day. We have United States government issues a new advisory. What exactly is it talking about? Sit down and listen. Well, the United States government has issued a new travel advisory warning its citizens against traveling to Nigeria due to limited access to health care, a rising rate of kidnappings, terrorism, and armed gang activity, among other security concerns. The travel advisory issued as part of the U.S. security review serves as a guideline for travelers planning trips to Africa, highlighting certain countries as high-risk destinations. The U.S. also concluded 11 other African countries in its global travel advisory, flagging Somalia, Libya, Burkina Faso, South Sudan, and Democratic Republic of Congo, Uganda, Burundi, Mauritania, Guinea-Bissau, Niger, and Chad as high-risk destinations. The advisory classifies country into 4 risk levels, with level 4, do not travel, representing the highest threat, and level 3, reconsider travel, indicating significant security concerns. In a statement issued by the U.S. mission in Nigeria and posted on its website, the U.S. cautioned its citizens to reconsider any planned trip to Nigeria, saying all locations carried significant security risk. The U.S. designated 18 states as the most severe and advised its citizens to completely avoid those states. At this point, I'm going to pause before I go further telling you about this whole advisory thing. But at this point, I want to ask a question. So if a U.S. citizen has a business here in the country, are you saying do not go and handle your business? Well, let's go further. Among others, it is advised its citizens to avoid Borno, Yobe, Kogi, and Northern Adamawa states due to terrorism and kidnapping, Bauchi, Gombe, Kaduna, Kano, Katsina, Sokoto, and Zamfara states due to kidnapping, and Abia, Anambra, Bayelsa, Delta, Enugu, Imo, and Rivers states due to crime, kidnapping, and armed gang. Again, I'm going to pause. Did you hear your state in all of those states mentioned? At this point, it's not really funny, because it's more like you're painting the country black. And you know, we have different business ties with the U.S., the country, and even individuals and private business owners have business ties with the U.S. So why say things like this? But let's go further. So in the statement, it reads, reconsider travel to Nigeria due to crime, terrorism, civil unrest, kidnapping, armed gangs, and inconsistent availability of health care services. Some places in Nigeria have an increased risk overall. All locations carry significant security risk. Violent crime is common in the country. This includes armed robbery, assault, carjacking, kidnapping, hostage taking, roadside banditry, and among others. Kidnappings from ransom often. They primarily target dual national citizens visiting Nigerian and U.S. citizens perceived as wealthy. Really? Really? Okay, at this point, I'm just going to talk a bit about it, but I must tell you that there is nowhere that crime doesn't exist. Even in the US, they have different crimes. But this is like a challenge to the Nigerian government to make sure that they restore peace and stability to the country, because if there is no peace, honestly, these people keep looking at us as though we are joking, but we are not. Nigeria is a beautiful country, and I know we have our own we have our own strength and we have our weaknesses, but these statements by the US is actually going to destroy a lot of business and political ties between the US and the Nigerian. But what do I know? Please drop your comment, as we're going to be taking some comments from social media as regards this topic. And the first comment is coming from JW Shepherd Boy, and JW says, US is more risky than most African countries. They are not even among the top most 80th countries with civil security. US, where they suffer from cybercrime, urban crime, public distrust in policing, and national civil unrest. Country where arrest their citizens every single day cause of say them they protest for peace. I told you, there is no place that we don't find arrest. There's no place that we do not hear of security issues, insecurities in different countries. But then let's go on to the second comment for the day. And the second comment is coming from Project R Chidiebere, and Project R says, he said it all. That's what a leader who have the interest of his people at heart does. Let the world make mockery of us, since that what APC and its supporters want. At this point, I must say, Chidebere, okay, your point is very, very valid. Seriously, if the government should take things seriously and make sure that they work on this country and every part of the sector, our health sector, our schools, educational sector, and every sector, I'm telling you the truth, these people will be the one begging to come over here and make sure they do business with us. Talking about working on sectors, one of the House of Rep members have proposed a bill saying that public servants should patronize public schools. Their children should patronize public schools and also public hospitals. But we are not going into that. But then again, I'm asking, what is your take on that? We can pick your comment next time when we come to talk about that, because it's almost like unrealistic. But again, is it possible? Is it going to work? Is it not going to work? Whatever it is, well, who knows? Well, the last topic we have for you today is from the Super Falcons of Nigeria. Ooh. The Super Falcons of Nigeria have booked their way and space in the finals of the WAFCON 2024. We are super proud. So the Super Falcons of Nigeria has booked their place in the final of the Women's African Cup of Nations WAFCON in Morocco after a dramatic 2-1 win over South Africa, sealed by a late goal from defender Michel Alozie. With the match seemingly heading for extra time, Alozie launched a long ball into the South African box, which evaded everyone, including the goalkeeper, and nestled into the net, turning the Bayana defense. Well done. Well, congratulations to our wonderful girls. It was a tough game, but it is victory at last. Now that the Super Falcons are off to the final to meet the host of the WAFCON Morocco, we wish them luck and hope the cup returns to Nigeria. At this point, I am super happy. You could see all the excitement on my face. I know some of us watched that match, and we could tell you could tell for a fact that most people were holding their hearts in their hands at that point, because you know, they were all bursting with attention. You know, when South Africa scored their first goal, we all felt like that was the end. You couldn't even go to social media because you get to hear comments like, we are going to eat you, we are going to do this, and we are going to do that. Then when our own goal came in, everyone started having this hope. Like the hope came back in, and we were waiting till the end. The final whistle was blown, you know, when we got our 2-1 victory. I must tell you that Nigerians are resilient. They are this kind of people that when they face something, in fact, when you dare Nigerian, just do not dare Nigerian, because when you dare Nigeria, they want to prove to you that yes, they can actually do it. And yes, the women have proven to Nigerians that yes, we can actually bring back the cup. So on Saturday, the Super Falcons will be meeting with Moroccan players, and we are hoping and praying so hard that they bring the cup back home this time around, because it's not going to be funny, but then again, we are praying that they bring it back home, even though it is a 1-0. Just bring back the cup home. That's all we are expecting. Well, I hope you've had fun today on Randoms, because I have had fun too. So please, I will be waiting for your comments on the comment section using the social media handles you're seeing right now on your screen. Please be part of this conversation. Drop your comment, drop your thoughts. We'll be waiting for them. We'll be replying every thought, and we'll be discussing. Who knows, your comment might come up in the next discussion. Who knows? And do not forget that Randoms airs every Thursday, 6:30 p.m. And I remain your host, Ogochukwu Mobno. Bye-bye.